Welcome back, everybody, to the ECC. Of course, we did just see 124Q and the lads of Nox eSports go to a game 5 in our last series. It was an absolute banger of a game, but we're now hopping down over the Champions Conference 1 for another match. This time, it's Disconnected eSports against Insist Blackout. So, yeah, it is me again, Faded, casting with Simdog this time. How are you today, man?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, like you said, we had joined in the match by Disconnected Esports and Insist Blackout. Uh, Insist Blackout last week in week 1, it was a 3-0 loss to Kuwana Academy. Didn't look too good for them, and not a very good performance, not too dominant whatsoever. But Disconnected Esports, on the other hand, a 3-1 win against Nox Esports Atlanta. So it was an extremely dominant performance from them. And if you had to ask me before the match, before we actually even see anything that's played, I would say I'm fully expecting the same in this match. And it will end up a similar way that it did in week 1 for both of these teams.
Yeah, exactly. I would agree with you. I expect Disconnected to just absolutely smash it this game. Of course, if we take a look at the players, you got Lewis, Hendo, Harbs, and then Growly, the latter of which is a big name, and we've seen him around the bubble scene playing for a variety of teams, and has been close to maybe even making the RLCS main event in the regionals. So he's a player that you will want to keep your eye on in this series. Whereas on the other side, we do have the Snake, Laser, and Ollie playing. So, some names that we do recognize still, but, honestly, for instance, the stacks, the odds are heavily stacked against them in this game. And so, it's going to take, nothing short of a miracle for them to come out with anything in this series because Disconnected have got a very, very stacked roster for them.
Yeah, you can't deny it, really. All you have to do is look at the roster and think about the pure horsepower that they've got, both in defence, at the front, all over the pitch. I do strongly believe it will be a fully dominant performance from them. I can't see too much hope from Insist Blackout, although they could come out and surprise us all. Who knows? I kind of don't want to keep waiting. I kind of want to get straight into this one. I think we've been waiting long enough. We can get into this game. We can see how it will unfold. And players are now getting into the game. Let's get it underway. But again, I am predicting a very, very dominant performance from Disconnected.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get kicked off with game 1 of the series here. Of course, Snake and Harbs facing off on the kickoff, as we see. Lewis Hendo trying to get out of the corner already, but it is an open net. Growly, though, he's able to get back to make that save. It was a pretty dangerous moment there for the side of Disconnected, but they will come out of it unscathed. It's now Growly trying to step for the ball. Will go up for this, trying to get off the backboard. The Snake does wait patiently for that one. Those now really big boomer coming in from Lewis Hendo. The shot is wide now as Ollie trying to take possession. Fakes out one, has laser forward in the middle, but he can't find as much he wants, and it just gives a free challenge to Growly, who's now fakes out one, going to try to get past another, but Laser has that one covered. And now Laser trying to get it out again, but he is bumped off as Lewis Hendo goes for another chance, trying to drop it into the box, and Harbs open net and Disconnected, unsurprisingly, have the first goal.
But yeah, it was all Disconnected from the first kick of the ball, really. It barely left the orange half. It was a perfect drop down there from Lewis Hendo. Herbs was there waiting, like you said, an open net to shoot in. I think there's practically no chance that he's going to miss that one. It's a good start. They can only hope to carry on the way that they have started. Growly being good at the start, he was forced to make an early save, but they didn't look scared by any means. He could go ahead and score another one now. I think the angle's just too tight, but the chance is still there. That was awkward there from the orange defence.
It was awkward indeed, but they will come out with it at the moment. But already we are seeing the side of Disconnected back on the attack. Is Growly going up for this? That's a big touch there. There's now two players going up for Disconnected. They won't be able to capitalize off of that turn. So Growly with 0 boost and is able to keep possession. You see no one challenging on the side of, on the orange team there for Insist. It's you got to be trying to close down the space. You can't leave players like these, especially Growly with all the space they want, as Harbs comes up with another chance, but it will be taken out again by Laser. But really, at the moment, this midfield is, purely on lockdown for Disconnected, and Insist are struggling to have anything upfield. As now, Laser's going to get a tap. Ollie going to puts it out into the side. Growly going to turn on this and try to get a flip, but Laser just shuts him down. But Growly starting possession. What can he do with it? Flicks forward with it, goes for an air dribble. Maybe he could score it, but Ollie saves it off the line. And with 2 minutes gone, whilst it is still 1-0, the odds are still heavily favouring Disconnected, as they've had practically all the pressure thus far this game.
Yeah, it has literally been all them all game so far. You've barely seen any shots from this Insist side. They are being forced to make saves left, right, and centre. Barely getting any shots on target. It's just pure aggression from Disconnected. They're barely given a chance, barely given any sort of sneak peek for an attack, and they're going for another one here. They're never leaving the ball alone, no matter where it is in the attacking third. There's a bump there from Growly, and Herbs is trying to send that one in. Like, literally, you can see it again. The rotation is so strong that as soon as one player's gone out of the play, the next one's there already.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, some may call this a very aggressive rotation to play, but with the quality of players you got here, the speed that they play at, you know, it works so well against the side of Insist that have been looking very timid, honestly, so far, and they've not been closing down the space, and so it's made it quite easy for Disconnected to really hold this rotation, where they, you know, don't need to actually go back to them half that much. They can just basically rotate from the midfield line, and there you go. They can keep the pressure. But as we are coming past the halfway mark, we are seeing Insist with a little bit more time in the opposing half, but it still favors the side Disconnected. 2 players go for that. Horbs is last man back. Ollie with no boost. Not the touch he wants. It's easy for Herb to deal with it. As Laser tries to pass it to the middle for the Snake, and he does put it top left. And as we see, Insist do get a good breakaway and manage to tie it up.
Well, how about that? Disconnected have had 7 shots. Insist Blackout have had 3. And it was the 3rd shot that they needed. They only needed 3 to actually equalise in this game. I'm sure that they won't be complaining. They haven't looked too strong in defence, maybe a bit shaky at times. They could be getting straight back in the lead, though, Disconnected. But it will be good for Insist Blackout, sorry. They'll be happy to equalise in this game. They just need to keep it up now. And it's that one break. They only need one single break, because when the pressure is so high and so strong from Disconnected, that one play through could be all that you need. And it was all that they needed last time.
Yeah, but now we're seeing Disconnected on attack again with 60 seconds to go. Honestly, this game turning out to be, you know, much closer to the scoreline as we first predicted, but now Growly having a chance here. Ollie just barely gets a piece of it and will put it over the bar and away as their Laser on the counter-attack. Has Herbs in his path, but Herbs deals with it properly. So Growly coming in again. Ollie with an early challenge. Lewis now getting it out. Growly going for a redirect downfield. Laser going to have to take it to his own corner. Lewis again there. And now here comes Herbs pre-flipping into it. Snake getting it out. Growly now touching it back. Snake there onto this, but he's got Growly to deal with. We know in first 1v1 skill, he's going to be able to win that exchange there. Now Herbs tapping it into the corner once more. Herbs going to try to take it out, but the Snake is there again onto the backboard. Growly trying to get up to it, but he does not land contact, but he will be able to recover from it. As our Herbs last-ditch effort, can he close it out in regulation? It might seem like no, but Growly, he does take it to the sky, giving another chance here for Disconnected. But Ollie, solid challenge, and this will touch the ground, and we are heading into overtime in game 1.
Yeah, a game 1 overtime. You can't ask for too much. I think Insist Blackout would definitely be happy. They might be counting themselves lucky with the amount of pressure they were put under. They could be getting the lead there, but nobody was in the passing lane to receive that ball into the middle. Herb's getting a demo there. I still believe that it will be a Disconnected eSports who will find the goal and win this game in overtime. I think they'll be annoyed really with the lack of goals that they've scored when you consider the amount of time that's been spent in the opposition half. That's a brilliant pass through there, but Herbs just makes a save. But yeah, like I was saying, I think they'll be annoyed with how little they've scored, but it doesn't matter because they've got the goal that matters in overtime. They take this game 2-1. It only took them 36 seconds, but again, they probably wouldn't have even wanted overtime. They had all the pressure, but they just didn't have the goals. But nonetheless, come the end of the game, they do have the 2-1 lead and the goal that gets them the win.
Yeah, indeed. So very well done from Growly. Managed to find that gap in the defence, and so it is a Disconnected victory. Of course, I must say it was a very close game considering how much Disconnected had. You know, they had so much pressure on the other team. You would have thought they would have been able to score more, and maybe they're a little frustrated they didn't score as much as they thought they would. And so Bit surprised to see that one go to an overtime, if I'm being completely honest. But nevertheless, Disconnected do come out with a win. And so, really, next game, they're going to be looking to close out more of those chances. They know they have the pressure on their opposition and they should be really slotting more of those home. But with Insist, they've been able to somewhat keep up in defense. They've been able to stop a lot of those chances. And maybe that will be what they need. They maybe have to rely on a counter-attacking play style because the speed from the players here on Disconnected is maybe too much for them to handle.
Well, yeah, I'd say it is. I'd say you're perfectly right there. The speed is definitely too much. They're beating them to practically every single ball. But again, the finishing product just isn't there. They had double the shots that Insist had in the last game, but they only managed to put 2 away from, I believe it was, in fact, 11 shots. That's 9 shots that they've missed, and they shouldn't be happy with that. And I'm positive that they won't be, but this game they'll be looking to make a difference. And it's Growly who nearly gets a beautiful tight angle there, but it just comes off the bat.
Yeah, it does. And now Growly's going it for again. Oh, he went for that redirect, but it was cut off by the opposing defender as Lewis passed it back. Snake could be putting it to the right side, but Growly read that well. Now he is coming off the side wall, tries to get past Ollie, but he doesn't read it again. And now Lewis going to try to get out. Loser gets a touch. Snake with a high ball. Now 2 players up here. Growly is the one that's going to get the save as Ollie attempts the infield pass. Snake puts it into the corner for Ollie again and tries to go for the shot, but he's not got any power on it. At least not what's necessary to score. As now Laser into the corner. Ollie again going to put it off the wall, and 2 players up here for instead of Insist, but in the end, as the Snake tries to get past the Laser, the shot's not enough, and now it will be Disconnected trying to make a breakaway. As Insist have had a decent stint of pressure on the attack, but it will finally break down here as Growly looks to make a solo play here, and he will manage to do that successfully. We know for his one skill, and that is a perfect example of it right there.
Yeah, who needs a team when you can just do solo plays like this, taking one out of the play and then just shooting into the open left-hand side. That was a brilliant fake at the first sight, but I actually do think that Insist Blackout could have done so much better down the other end. They made a 50 in the midfield and it just didn't go their way whatsoever, and that's what forced the 2 men to be on their own at the back end. Of course, when Growly's coming at you, it's one of the situations that you do not want to be in, and he made them pay big time. He's going for it again. He's playing it up into the air, but the Snake gets a touch.
Yeah, he will get a touch, and crucially, and that's maybe a lesson that the side of Insist will take, not to give Growly that space, because he is very capable of making use of it. And, really that could be applied to just about anyone on the Disconnected team, being honest, but Growly is especially one of those potent threats, as now we do see Growly trying to put it down the field again. He has a chance to maybe pass it, but he'll instead go for the solo play. He goes for this air dribble. He has a potential chance to score, but it will be blocked off again. It's now Herbs going to try and make a center again. Laser on the side wall is a little bit awkward for him. He touches it down just past Lewis, and the Snake going to get it. Growly now with another touch. Has a little bit of space to work with, tries to put it over Ollie. He does do so successfully, but Laser is there to cover it off. As now Growly going for it again, tries to get it past Snake, but it will be blocked once more. Herbs now trying to get the pressure, but again, every single time it is an Insist player meeting the ball, and maybe Growly can finally get a shooting chance. He puts it off the bar, and it will still remain 1-1 as Herbs tries for one more, but Insist soaking up this pressure pretty decently at the moment.
Well, yeah, the pressure is still all there for Disconnected, but Insist Blackout are just coping with it so much better when you compare it to last game. They're actually rotating around the player rather than around each other. They're actually getting and covering the spaces that this Disconnected eSports side wish to go into, and it just proves, because when they're trying to counter, obviously it's hard to counter against a team like this when they're just so fast to the ball and they've always got a man there, but they're doing better. They're actually getting more than one man in a good position to receive the ball after the original challenge is made.
Yeah, indeed, and so that's something that can be built upon as the series goes on, but really at the moment he needs to get the hell out of their own half, and maybe this could be a chance as Lewis accidentally pinches it, but it acts as a good back pass into Horrors, but now Snake trying to put some pressure on again. Growly ready and waiting for it, and that demo could open the floodgates, but Growly, crucial touch in the corner there, and it won't allow the respawn to come through. So Growly trying to set up a counter attack, puts over to Lewis, tries to go for the shot. It is blocked again. Ollie now intercepting that shot again. Snake now rotating in. He's got Herb to deal with. Good flick, but Growly is there to receive it. Going for that double. He can't reach it. Leaves it for Lewis. The shot is high again. Herbs with the follow-up off the bar, and it will go out. Herbs having to put it away. He knows that's not going to be a goal anyway, but at least try to get it to his teammate. Now Growly once more for the shot. Ollie saves it again, and still Insys managing to just barely hold on, but they're the ones the back where they need to get out of their half sooner or later. Otherwise, eventually, this guy will score, which they'll do now.
Yeah, well, it took all three of them to shoot, and then it took an extra shot from Growly, and eventually it's fallen to him again. What feels like the millionth time of asking in that small period of time. They finally found the back of the net. The pressure this time was too much for Insys Blackout to cope with, and they could get one back here, but it's just off the bar. But there is a follow-up from Ollie, and we're in for an interesting final 30 seconds of this match, because there's only one goal in it now. And if it carries on like this and momentum steers with Insys, then it looks like we'll be going into another overtime.
Yeah, you would hope, but that would be, quite a mix-up in this game, with, again, this guy to have having the massive majority of pressure. It would be very much against the fun of play for that to happen, as it is in the Insys Blackout half again. So Lewis goes for another shot, and that will surely seal the deal. What a banger! And again, he just took a small set of pressure, and the finishing touch is there for the side disconnected this time.
Well, yeah, instead of momentum sticking with Insys, it just went the complete opposite way. Lewis Hendo absolutely burying that one in the back of the net. 3-1 now. The 2-goal cushion, it is still possible, of course, but I feel like that's just adding salt to the wound, really. I think it will be much more difficult now, and I can't see it. Previously, I could when there was just the one, but 10 seconds left now, yeah, it's game over.
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, a 2-goal deficit, with the way this game's been going, is not going to happen, and so they'll be disconnected with a 3-1 victory. It was, again, fairly close, you could say, scoreline-wise, but when you look at the game, it was favouring disconnected the whole time, and so they move out to 2-0 in the series, and really they're on for the sweep, but you can see, again, the pressure, 10 shots to 5, so disconnected, having double the shots again. Insist managed to keep a lot of those out, to be fair to them, but in the end, disconnected stepped up and they, put a nail in the coffin for this game, and so, gotta ask you, SimDog, with Insist, we know they're heavy underdogs in this, but, if there's anything, what can they do, really, to try and scrape something out of this series? Because at the moment it's looking dire, and they're going to have to make something huge happen if they want to take a game off of this disconnected side.
I mean, I'm no professional coach or anything, but it seems like to me it's complete high pressure from disconnected. So if Insys Blackout just try to, it's not a very smart tactic, but if they try to play a bit more of a boomer ball sort of thing, try to get a player ready for a pass downfield with all three of the disconnected players up, I'm sure that they could find one booming pass forward, and they will be able to have not an open net, because this disconnected team are fast, so I'm sure they will recover in time to get back. But I feel like they'd have more chances if they didn't try to play it out of their field and into the disconnected players.
Yeah, you did make a good point there. Maybe playing more of a boomer ball style could work out for them. Of course, it will be difficult. With the way this guy is playing, he'd like to play very aggressive, and if you catch them out doing that, if you can find that long clear and quickly capitalize off it, then maybe that is the way to go. But we're into game 3. We'll see if this side of Insys can get anything out of this game, as the Snake has to come into defense when Grelly has a shot, and again he goes that fake, and now he's going to try to get on the Snake, but he does manage to block it, as now a counter-attacking chance. Herbs is going to try to get it out. Lewis Hendo opens a potential chance here. Now he tries to get it. Laser going to block it. Now Lewis Hendo putting it back into Growly from that 50-50. Now Growly going to go for another solo play. Presley going over one, but that bump from the Snake was huge to try and give a chance to his teammates, as they're all getting it out, but you can see it's so awkward for the side of Insys, but in the end he will manage to survive for now, as Laser finds that throw downfield.
Yeah, that could have been, it was a very dangerous opening. 1 minute, they could find a goal there, but no, it's saved by Lewis Hendo at the near post. I really don't know what's going to happen here, because Insys, they really do look like they could score when they eventually get forward. The issue is, what we keep talking about, it's actually trying to get forward. They're finding it so hard, so difficult to even get chances in, or even be looking at scoring, but when they do get them, they look dangerous. But it is, of course, Disconnected who are still on top. It's Growly going up for the shot. And when he's coming up in an area like that close to the goal, you would fully expect him to put it away just like he did.
Yeah, absolutely. There was no chance Ollie could get up to that. Growly was just way too quick to it. And, you just read that early, slammed it home, and it's easy as that for Disconnected to stay. Now, lead the game by 1 after a minute and a half played. So, a tall task got even harder for Insys this game as Growly trying to chip this up. Ollie now having a chance. He finds Laser down the field, but that's not a great touch for him. He does get the backboard, and that is a missed clear from Growly. The Snake could not finish it, though, as now Lewis Henry trying to get down the field. Laser going to get onto that. Growly out to the side. He's got a bit of space to work with. The demo on Hubs will not really matter, as Growly still has loads to work with, but in the end, it will go back once more. And the Snake trying to get to it again. Herbs taps to the side, but now Ollie having a chance. There's a pro touch though, and it gives Growly a opportunity. He has his reset, and he will make perfect use of it. And it just came for that one tiny mistouch, and it opened the floodgates for Growly to do his thing.
Well, yeah, when you've got a player like Growly, you can't be making mistakes like that. When he gets the flip reset, you know that it's game over. I can't tell who it was in net. Was it the Snake who was in goal? He knew it was game over as soon as he came close to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's why you don't want to give space to players like these. And, with Growly able to make solo plays like that, definitely a valuable asset there. As now it's 2-0. The Snake going on a demo speed, leaves Growly all on his own. But he will be able to buy enough time at least, and he did a perfect job of that. That's our handle. Getting it out again. The Snake going to try find a player in the midfield. 2 players being required to go on to that, but Herbs will be able to follow it up, and now taking it around the side. Ollie gonna get onto it. Laser gonna put it down the field, and maybe Kufan sends. He's not got any boost to work with. Tries to make it offer for Growly. He does do it, and a potential shooting chance gonna be saved away by the Snake in the end.
Again, like I said, when they do eventually get forward, they do look dangerous, and there is a goal to get them straight back into the game. 2-1 with 2 minutes left. They'll feel a lot more comfortable with this situation rather than just a few seconds, 30 seconds. It's 2 minutes instead. They'll be looking to get back into the game and equalise, but that goal is extremely important to insist Blackout.
Yeah, it is crucial for them if they want to try make their way back into the game, but already Disconnected. Trying to get back on attack. Growly, that was a great touch to the centre, but there was so many defenders covering it that it wasn't really possible. So Growly tries to go top shelf on that. The shot's high. Herbs with the follow-up. That is surely on target, and it will be a goal to the defender. Couldn't get to it. And already the dreams of Insys are being crushed again, as very quickly a goal is back for Disconnected.
It's almost deja vu. It's almost a complete replica. Take away the timings of the goals of game 2. The exact same thing happened. They made it 2-1 Insys Blackout scoring, but then straight away it is Disconnected eSports who make it 3, and they'll definitely be happy with that one. They'll be looking to add insult to injury right now, though. They want to score more goals. They are still having the chances. They've definitely had more shots in this game. Not as many as we've seen previously from them, but it's still all their game.
Yeah, definitely. They've been very clinical on their chances, but Ollie, where did that come from? A solo play from him, and he was just given all the space he needed, really. And, as Lewis tried to challenge it there, it didn't matter, as Growly just barely couldn't catch up to that one. So Ollie putting a breath of life into this game, and maybe, just maybe, they could bring it back, but Disconnected, we're not going to give out that easily. As a fake kickoff comes out. Ollie, though, having a chance. It's an open net, as that clear coming in from Herbs in the end was not powerful enough, but Disconnected get away with it this time. And now Growly for a double tap. Can he land it? No. The follow-up from Lewis Hendon will be good. He finds that 50-50, and we're just over a minute to go, as again, a 2-0 lead to Disconnected.
It has literally happened again. They've got another goal to get them back into the game, but Disconnected come back and say, no, we're having none of that rubbish, and they get another goal to completely stomp on the dreams that Insys Blackout would have had, and they could make it 5-year. Growly taking his time. What was that kind of flick? Oh my god. Hello, Growly. I see you. That was
all right.
That was extremely weird. He went for the musty, but he flicks it off the back of his thing, and then he gets the read there. It was really confusing to watch. I can't really wrap my head around that.
That was bizarre. That's all I can really say about that. But if it works, it works. So fair play. I mean, that was probably one of the strangest goals I've ever seen in my entire time casting. And I've been casting for quite some time. That was something else really from Growly, but that's his hat trick. And definitely the game securing goal, because the 3-goal deficit, the way this game's going, it's just not going to happen, is it? As Growly is going to go for one more. Maybe he can give us another clip. Sadly, not this time, as Liz is going to say no to that, but it is like him to this challenge that is like, all right, you're not doing any more, Growly. I'm sorry. The game's over, and really any goal at this point, any more goals, should I say, would be adding insult to injury.
Yeah, it's been complete domination again. This is the most goals, surprisingly, that we have seen from Disconnected. I also think it's the least shots that we've actually seen from them. They've had 9, make that 10, no, make that 11 shots, sorry. So it's equaled the most. They've had 11 shots in the game, in this final game, but they had the most goals. They take that game 5-2. A brilliant performance from Growly and Disconnected yet again. I mean, you can see 700 points there from Growly. It's complete domination from him. You can't really get too much of a better game than that.
Yeah, domination is the way to put it, really. Absolutely spot on right there. So Disconnected looking brilliant as they will move up to 2-0 on their records, which puts them in provisional first for the week at least. Whereas Insis Blackout, they are right down at the bottom of the table. Of course, currently 0-6 in games, not won a single game so far, having a rough time. Whereas Disconnected thrown in there, one of the best we have around here at the Champions Conference 1. And so, yeah, it was a well-played game for them again. And so for Disconnected, it's happy days for them. They got a nice clean sweep, and really they didn't seem to throw many struggles in that series.
Well, yeah, they didn't have any struggles, but Insys will not be leaving this game with the same attitude. It's another sweep. That's 3-0 losses in a row now. They won't be happy. They know what they need to improve on, though, but it's just a question of whether they can actually put their mind to it and actually do it. I'm sure that they'll be thinking they can, but we need to see it out on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, well played to Disconnected, continuing the run of form. Insist definitely got a lot to work on if they want to have a chance of making it to the top 4 this season, because with a start like this, it's going to be a long road ahead. But I think that will do it for this series. Of course, well played to both teams. I think we will now go to a break. It will be a bit of a longer one, so apologies for that. But we'll be back in 20, 30 minutes time with our next series, which will be in Division 3 Breakdowns, Zenon versus Emmy Garnet. So do not go anywhere, everyone. We will be back just shortly.